your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Friday, the last working day of the week, and it's the 16th day of May 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. We made it, guys. We made it to the last working day of the week, and we're heading on into the weekend. What are your plans? What are your plans for this weekend? Of course, you know, we always like to connect with you, our viewers, because you are the reason why we remain number one for morning show here on the island of Tobago. So leave in your comments. What are your plans for your weekend? What are you looking forward to the most? Are you going to do chores around the house, the yard? Are you going to get into a new project? What is up with you this weekend? We'd really love to know. We have a lovely show lined up for you this morning, but before we get into those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, May 16, 2025. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has confirmed that the new session of Parliament will formally commence on May 23, 2025. At a post-cabinet media briefing yesterday, Persad-Bissessar confirmed that the clerk will read the President's proclamation to declare the start of the first session of the 13th Parliament. The first sitting of both houses is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. The Prime Minister also stated that the first bill to be introduced will be to repeal the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. Additionally, the Cabinet has adopted the UNC's manifesto as the official government policy. Up next, the government has launched a probe into foreign exchange distribution and leakages over the past decade. This was announced by Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar yesterday. A public report will be compiled by Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur, Planning Minister Kennedy Swach Singh, and Trade Minister Satya Kamaharaj. Persad-Bissessar said the findings will identify key users, facilitators, and expose any collisions between businesses and operatives. Former Prime Minister Stuart Young has also raised concerns about forex allocation accesses for citizens and raising bank charges, citing inefficiencies despite cost-cutting measures like digital banking transitions. And finally, despite earlier statements by Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar confirmed that there will be no refunds for the property tax already paid. Persad-Bissessar clarified that only Thakur mentioned refunds and questioned how he planned to fund them. She affirmed plans to repeal the property tax and scrap the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, calling it politically motivated and non-functional. She emphasized strengthening the Board of Inland Revenue instead. Labour Minister Leroy Baptiste also criticized the TTRA, citing poor work buy-in and lack of consultation. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. You know, I saw the press conference yesterday from the post-cabinet media briefing there, and hearing the conversations that we had. And I know they mentioned a little bit about the TTRA. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when the question was posed, like, what is going to be the replacement, they said she did mention that she's going to strengthen inland revenue, empower inland revenue rather, to be able to carry out all the functions. So let's see how the strengthening the infrastructure, the strengthening is going to take place there to ensure that, you know, all the duties are going to be carried out efficiently and effectively. Yes. I'm not sure if the TTRA is scrapped immediately. I'm not sure what the process is or what the procedures or the timeline is, but certainly we will see how that is managed there for the rollout. But, you know, we're heading on to the weekend, so I really want to keep things light this morning. We spoke about enough governance for the week, and I do. Brianna, what you have planned for the weekend?
This weekend is more of a relaxing one for me. I'm not sure what you are up to this weekend.
Oh, this weekend is work, and more work. I've got so many projects I have to get off the ground. So this weekend I will be, I'm getting my hands in the dirt, in the soil.
Okay.
This weekend, I really wanted to read a book that I had earmarked to read, but I'll see if I could probably read that in the evening hours. But during the day, you'll be seeing me with a hammer and a nail and all the other things. And my
Well,
hands
hats off to you for that.
That's right. And I'll come to tell the story on Monday morning, of course.
Yes.
So you do have a wonderful weekend and keep safe.
You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And we here at Tobago Updates Television, we love a good celebration. And look at that smile from this gorgeous lady, Miss Olive Grant. Olive Grant is celebrating a birthday today. And we do say happy birthday to you, Miss Olive. We pray God's blessings upon your life. We hope that you can continue smiling and shining the way that you are in this photograph. And we hope that you are able to create beautiful, beautiful memories. So happy birthday to you. We also say happy birthday to Erwin Lovelace. Erwin Lovelace is also celebrating a birthday today. And Erwin, we pray God's blessings upon your life. We do hope that you have an amazing birthday today. And we pray that your heart's desires are granted in accordance to God's will for your life. And our final birthday celebrant on our rundown is Miss Kafia Baker. Kafia Baker is also celebrating a birthday today. And Kafia, we pray that even as you enter this new chapter of your life, that the pages are written beautifully, that your heart's desires are granted, and that you experience more beautiful memories to be created for your future with your loved ones, family, and friends. So happy birthday to all of you. And of course, even if you did not submit a photograph, if you are celebrating a birthday, you're celebrating an anniversary, whatever you are celebrating, we here at Tobago Updates Television, we love a good celebration, as you're aware. And so, of course, we do join in the celebration with you. But we remind you to put God first, because He is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. It's Friday, so you might be wondering what is happening today on Tobago Updates Television. Who are we speaking with? What are we having conversations about? So we start off the conversation by speaking with Mr. Sherwin Winchester. Yes, you might know that name, singer, songwriter, soca artist from right here, Tobago born. As a Tobago boy, we're going to be speaking to him this morning about Tobago Fashion Coda 7. Yes, he's a part of the event, so we'll be speaking to him about that. Then, of course, Mr. Cricket Marcus Daniel is going to be in studio this morning, and he's speaking to Joshua James, who is a cricketer, talking about the suspension from bowling, and he's going to continue to bring us our sports updates as it relates to things happening in and around Tobago, concerning people who reside here, who are from here, who were bred here, and who were brought up using the resources that we have here in Tobago. Even if it is us cheering them on, we're going to be talking about that right here on the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. So, whether you are viewing on our Facebook live stream, where you can leave your comments, or even our YouTube channel, or on AMPLIA 102 or Floor 121 or 130, we thank you so much for choosing us. And we are going to go for a short break before we begin conversations. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back. So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time.
This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Mr. Sherwin Winchester. You might know him, and if you don't, well, you need to find out who he is. He's a son of the soil, and he's a singer, songwriter, and a soca artist from right here on the island of Tobago, making his name, internationally, and of course, putting Tobago on the map. And this morning, we're going to be talking about Tobago Fashion Code 7. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
All right,
Tobago, good morning.
That's right.
Fine.
Son of the soil. A pleasure having you here on our program this morning, and I see you are already on the go. Of course, we are very proud of all that you have been able to accomplish in your career and in your life. And of course,
Thank you.
here at Tobago Updates Television, we love to celebrate greatness, so we celebrate with our own. So many congratulations to you there. Let me just put that out there for you.
Thank you.
Right.
What's the weather like home? It's sunny?
It is sunny so far for the morning, but we've been having a few intermittent showers in between. But for the morning so far, it's beautiful and sunny.
Great. As my dad would always say, Tobago is paradise. So let me say our blessings to home, everyone. Just for all protocol being observed in safety, I'm using a hands-free, so I'm not having a phone in my hand. So Tobago Fashion Code 7, we are ready. I'm really proud of the team putting on this event. I'm really proud of what they're doing for Tobago, having all the designers coming up. I mean, in our plight and drive for tourism, all that we've said that we want the island to do, this is one of the main attributes I like about this. We are bringing persons to a fashion show on an island that is second to none. The beauty and the fauna, the relaxation, the mood and experience you feel when you're deep planing, when that plane lands and you're walking down the step right there. It starts immediately. That relaxed nature that you feel, and you're coming to a fashion show that is going to give you all the designers, top designers. You're going to see them on the runway in a fantastic hotel, I would say. The backdrop right there in Lambo Beach, one of the same areas I used to go swimming. So I could tell you for a fact that ocean breeze blowing up on you. You don't need an AC. You're going to feel that relaxed spirit. You're going to feel and see the ambience. When it comes to the entertainment, what I can tell you and promise you is we're coming to give you a fantastic show to match the designers with all that you're about to see. We're not talking about one band, There's Trevini as well coming to put on a great show, but you're having two bands, Trevini and yours truly, Sherwin Winchester, and my band, you. And I'm coming home to put on a performance that would mirror the event itself. So come out, get your tickets early, support on the island, and get ready to get on real crazy, because you're going to see the beauty and then you're going to feel the experience of what it gives you through the music, through the entertainment.
Sherwin, you gave a really, really beautiful introduction there in terms of the experience one can hope for when they come to Tobago. How did you get involved in an event like this, Tobago Fashion Code? How did you, link up with the producer, and how did you decide that, yes, this is something you do want to be a part of?
We worked together some years gone, and I liked what I saw, honestly. It was interesting because it would have been one of the first, that was the first fashion show that I did. And then after that, I ended in Dubai doing another one. But what I loved about Don's, how he puts on his show, is that there's a class in it. It's not just somebody walk down the runway and they turn around and say, oh, nice beauty, look at the cut, look how it fits on the person. There's a story. There is a merit in it. It lends itself to the island and where he is, and in everything Tobago is pushed 100%. So I was coming up to Tobago, and who could I see in the airport? Right there, busy as always on his phone, talking away, getting things ready, and we started talking from there. And he said, Sherwin, I need you to be on the show. And there was a postponement of the date, and everything, God is the boss, everything worked out the way it was supposed to. So this time I could have made it. Call the band members together. Yo, guys, we're doing so by so. Everybody jacked up and ready to go, and we're excited. Performing all over the world, thankful to God, is a real nice experience. But it's nothing like performing for your home. There's a pride that you feel, there's a pressure that you feel as well, because you want to give the best to them. And I embrace that. You know, Tobago has given me so much. Tobago has given me so much. And you can never repay that. So in any way that I could support and put on a show for them, I will give my all, always. So guys, get your tickets. Get your tickets for the Fashion Coda 7. Do not be on the outside. You're coming to relax in ambience, ocean breeze. You're home on the soil. Persons flying in for the event. Show them our hospitality. We talking tourism, now we're going and show it. And then the entertainment segment comes, and watch me, the level goes like this. Because we have to test the clothes, you know. The clothes ain't coming out. If it's not coming and just look good, we would have to get the test. And that is the test. So you guys get ready.
And you know, sure, when you were talking about the fact that the fashion show is like it tells a story, right? It kind of unfolds the story of Tobago. In terms of you preparing to be a part of the show, how do you tell your story inside of that story to ensure that you also represent Tobago in that type of way that you're so connected to? Because I know you also mentioned that it's a pleasure to come home, but it's also a pressure. So how do you integrate that into your performance?
Well, I could tell you with the fashion coda, the first thing is you better have yourself looking good. You can't come up there. You can't come up there looking halfway. No. On point. Energy, of course, and the repertoire has to be a different repertoire. You understand that I'm excited about what we're bringing to the island. In the past, I had the opportunity of not only seeing, but performing with the likes of Lionel Richie and how they would craft their set. And in that experience, you know, I've learned a lot with all the stages I've been on. So you're applying all of that home. You want to give your best. You want to give your best. Charity begins at home. So no matter what I do abroad, when it comes to Tobago, I always try to give 100%. For those who you're not sure what you want to do, you know, I'm telling you, this is where you want. This is where you want. It is perfect for the time. And I can tell you, when you see that show rolls out, knowing the person I'm talking about, when you see the production, you will feel as though you're at the Grammys. So get your tickets, come down, and Tobago, I am proud of you. Tobago, understand who we are. Tobago's paradise. Tobago's paradise. Let's treat it that way. Let's love it, protect it. And everything we do it at 100%. Do it 100%. Give. Don't ask what Tobago giving you. You give to Tobago and you will get back tenfold. So I'm coming to give to Tobago. I'm coming to give to the fans. I'm coming to give to the designers. I'm coming to give to the persons flying in, because we have a large contingent coming down for it. The entertainers, each and every one is coming to give a great show. The only question is, will you be there to enjoy it? Will you be there to experience it? And will you be there in the ambience at the all of the night, where you're sitting down and it's like, wait, you mean on my island, boy? Right here, all of this happening? So get ready.
About how you love Tobago and the promotion of Tobago and what Tobago means to you. When was the last time you performed on the island of Tobago? And I don't even have to ask how excited you are to come this time, because you've already told me. But when was the last time you performed on the island of Tobago? And what are you expecting in terms of your performance for this event?
The last performance was a wedding. Oh, it was great. you're performing right there on the beachfront in Pigeon Point, and we behaved really bad in a good way. But as to for this show, wow. Looking back on the last show that I did at the Fashion Coda, I know that I have to bring something more because I've seen the growth. In fact, I was really amazed at how big, how grand the work that goes into the brand. So everything on that night would be enhanced. So I'm gonna do the same in terms of my performance. The event tells me what I need to do. So on the night itself, while I may have an idea of what my repertoire would look like, when I get there, according to what I see, changes would be made to make sure I match the night and everything works, in a symbiotic relationship. So we're both benefit from each other. And the great thing about this, how you know it's the right place to be and how it's going to be good, is organic. Even the campaign advertising the show is organic. It doesn't feel forced. There's a relaxed mood, the same way Tobago gives you. And the way I am excited, what I'm going to do, I really can't wait for Tobago to experience it. I really can't wait for you all to experience what we're coming with. And I can tell you all the other acts feel the same way, because between ourselves, we always have this professional competition, and which is a healthy one, in the performance. Showing it. See what I do this here. Let me see what you're going to do this time. So it just gives you the fan base a better show.
All right, and I totally understand, and especially when you said the show will tell you what to bring. And I've heard artists say that before, that they might prepare a set, and when they get into the atmosphere, they kind of have to make tweaks. So of course your band has to be ready to do something possibly impromptu, and of course these are the things patrons look for. They look for these types of things to ensure that they have the experience that they are paying for. And I can tell, Sherwin, that you're ready to bring it. I can tell that you are excited, and we do look forward to spending time with you at Tobago Fashion Coda 7. We wish you the absolute best, and we cannot wait to see you here on the island of Tobago to give of yourself back to the island that gave you your life, your being, your existence, your upbringing, and even your culture. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Let me just say this before I go to you, the host to the channel. Thank you for what you guys doing. Sometimes you may not get the appreciation. It's not set enough or loud enough. No one knows the hours that you all put in to get things prepared. No one knows behind the team in the back there doing all the edits. The reporters going out to get the images. Sometimes what you all doing with your own personal life, what you're facing, and what you all bring into the screen, supporting and promoting Tobago. You all are needed, because no one would get the story unless there's someone there to tell it. I guess the saying is, if the tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it or see it, did it really fall? You are doing that. So thank you tremendously for what you're doing for the island. Thank you guys tremendously to the entire management. Everyone, please pass that on from your show Winchester. I really, really love what you're doing for Tobago. Love you guys. God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Winchester, and do have a wonderful, amazing weekend, and we look forward to seeing you on the 31st of May at Tobago Fashion Coda 7. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Sherwin Winchester, yes, and he will be part of the celebration there at Tobago Fashion Coda, that event taking place on the 31st of May at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort. So if you don't have your tickets yet, now is the time to get your tickets. Of course, we have to go for a break before we continue conversations here in studio. And as you are aware, it's Friday, and Mr. Cricket, trust me, he walked in the studio, so he's ready to give you all the sports updates and to have the conversations about all things sports happening in and around Tobago, or concerning people who reside here, who live here, who are from here, who even know about Trinidad and Tobago. He's going to be bringing you all the updates, so do stay with us. But as we go for this break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49SWIFT 4979438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. And no, I am not Mr. Cricket. And I know I told you he'll be here right after the break, but he is in studio with me this morning. And it is my pleasure and my honor. It's the first time I think I'm having conversation on set with you, Marcus. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning to you. Must be a great morning, Adana.
That's right. It is. Toot your own horn. Yes, it's a great morning. It's a great morning, Marcus.
Yes. I must say good morning also to viewers of Tobago Updates Television. And of course, it's sporting morning. And I'm happy to have you on set, as we discuss a little sports before we get into some interviews I have this morning. We're going to be chatting with Jason Goodin out of the Rainbow Cup. Some not so good news from the Rainbow Cup after 20 years of being hosted in Tobago. And then I'm hoping to get Joshua James on the line as well. Joshua James, our pride and joy when it comes to cricket, representing Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm hoping to chat with those two guys this morning.
But Marcus, I want to ask you this, right? Because ever since I've known you, you've been a sport enthusiast.
Yes.
Well, cricket primarily, but of course, sports, a lover of sports. How did you fall in love with sports?
And interestingly, right, I was having this conversation earlier this week about, in fact, I was talking to a student who was about to select his subjects for CXC, and he wants to get into sport management. And he asked that question, how did I get involved in sports? And it took me way back to primary school days in Scarborough SDA. My love for cricket started from watching Brian Lara play for West Indies.
Right.
And then I think it was my second year teacher had us in a classroom cheering Brian Lara on to break the record. The first time he broke the record of 365, and everyone wanted to be like Brian Lara. And from since primary school to all now, I've admired Brian Charles Lara, both on and off the field. And I grew a love for sport from since trying to be Brian Lara at primary school. And then obviously cricket, that's my first love, and I still play today, recreationally, not professionally, from since back then to now. I grew that passion, and I try my very best to get others to follow the same pathway. It keeps you healthy and it keeps you young. Many times I reveal my age, people don't believe me, and that's because of me being physically active in sport. if you go and watch sport, you participate in it, you feel
Yes.
good.
Yes.
You feel good. Just like exercising as well.
And I want to share in that too, because I'm not a sport enthusiast, but I
Yeah.
do appreciate sports.
Yes.
And as you rightfully said, especially when you take in a live,
Yeah.
like when you go to a stadium,
Yes.
I'm not much of that, but
Yeah.
I've been to a couple, and I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the exuberance, the spirit, the togetherness. And I recall the first time I went to a live cricket match.
CPL?
I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but it was a couple of years ago, and it was in Trinidad.
Best experience
And
ever.
I'm telling you, I've never ever been to one before in my life.
Yeah.
And I got there and I did not know anybody. When I'm telling you I didn't know anybody, it was me and a friend of
Yeah.
mine. We went together and we didn't know anybody there. And as soon as we walked into the arena, they was like, hey, come up here, look,
Yeah,
we
man.
cooler here, we
Say
cooler
a
here.
few drinks.
You understand?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, we looked at each other and we was like, what?
No, it's a community.
And it really is a community there in
Yeah,
Truro.
because like just our colleague Biana, she asked about the CPL last year, and obviously I got her a couple tickets to go, and then I just came in the studio and she said, Marcus, when is CPL again? So she's excited to go to CPL again. I mean,
Right.
as outside of that love and rivalry on the field of play, the entertainment of it.
Yes.
I mean, even though you don't know what's going on, it is excited to be in that atmosphere, and that's what it brings to me. Cricket, I have often mentioned that it's the best sport in the world to me.
That's
and we have so many different formats now that is drawing a lot of spectators to the game now, and it's happening at night time and all these different things. So it's an opportunity still there to be a part of sport.
Yes, that's right. Viewers, Marcus is very, very excited about sports, as you are aware, and he'll be bringing you all the sports update later on. Not later on, immediately in the show. But before he starts with all that bubbly sporting activities and all that's happening sports-wise, we have the photo of the day. The photo of the day was sent in by photographer extraordinaire, Mr. Judan Jofield. Do you know where this photo was taken? Right here on the island of Tobago. I want to see how many of you all are real Tobagonians. So you have to guess the photo of the day. Before we end the show, of course, we will reveal to you where the photo was taken, but it was sent in by Judan Jofield, one of our very own. Yes, in case you're looking for somebody to take your photographs, I'm just putting that plug there. It's right here on the island of Tobago. Right? So Marcus,
Yeah.
this is you now. This is you now. I had my opportunity. I chat with you on set, and I'm handing over to you with all things sports.
Yes, of course. Let me say thank you so much, Adana, for being here this morning. And of course, yes, let's jump into it one time. In fact, we're riding into sport this morning because our first discussion is going to be with Jason Goodin, event coordinator of the Tobago Rainbow Cup. I said Tobago Rainbow Cup, International Cup. It's a triathlon event, and it's been happening here in Tobago for over 20 years, but recently we have been told, or in fact we saw in the media, some not so good news. So we invited Mr. Gooding to come and share with us what's really happening with the Rainbow Cup. So let me say good morning to you, Mr. Jason Gooding.
Hi, good morning, Marcus, and everyone, all the viewers.
Fantastic. You hear me clearly, right?
I am, yes.
Fantastic. Jason, in the build-up to, of course, inviting you on set this morning, I spoke about the Rainbow Cup happening in Tobago come the 7th of June. But even before I actually saw the date for the start of the event, I saw some disturbing news. I call it disturbing news. Given the fact that Tobagonians have welcomed the Rainbow Cup over 20 years, but I'm seeing that it's going to be the last year. Let's get into that discussion.
It's looking very possible that it will be the last year. It was a decision that we kind of made up that we were going to have, that this was going to be the last year last year. But I did get convinced that this year we should try it again, just because of the lack of funding. It's for anyone that has been to the Rainbow Cup Tobago down at Turtle Beach, you would come down there and it's a spectacular sight when it comes to sports in Trinidad and Tobago. And we've built this event up. It started in 2005, right in the back of Grafton Beach, with only 35 people, and this is 35 adults, kids, everybody, 35 in total. Now we have anywhere ranging from 400 to 600. On a great year, we had 600 people participate, and this is not the spectators that came over to support their athletes. It's not the parents who came to support their kids. It's not these are just athletes that we were able to bring from Trinidad, Tobago, the region, Grenada, Barbados. We had somebody from Egypt one year coming over to participate in this event. So when you have an event like this, and we want to talk sport tourism, these events like this is what it brings revenue to Tobago. You may not see it, but everybody that has to come to Tobago has to stay somewhere. Everybody that comes has to buy food, has to get transport around. They want to go on tours. Just from the race point of view, the people that we rent tents from, the lifeguards, the guy that organizes our boats and to put the markers out in the water, kayak rentals, everything. Everybody has an opportunity to make money. We even have food vendors who come down on the site and sell food for the participants and spectators for the day. So there's an opportunity for everybody to make a little bit of change
Yeah.
for this event.
Yeah,
You may not even have something going on regularly,
Yeah, and Jason, I mean, just for probably those who may be asking, because you mentioned that funding, lack of funding, may be one of the main reasons for not, or considering not having it in Tobago again. If you can, on average, what does it take to host such an event in Tobago?
Upwards of $180,000. And you may not see it, but that's what it costs to get everything that we need. Most of our stuff is in Trinidad, so we have to, we get Tobago Services to lend us their truck, and we get a big truck, and all the equipment comes over. I move my team from Trinidad, and so we all need accommodations. Just my team alone, we need accommodation. So we've had hotels that have supported us in the past, and we're very grateful for the support that we've received in the past and so far. But at this point, after last year, after I paid off all my bills and all that stuff, I realized that I had to take $45,000 out of my personal money. So I had to go borrow money. I had to go and ask somebody to lend me some money so I could pay off my bills. Because of course I don't want to keep the people that came and provided services and rented me stuff. I don't want to keep them waiting. So it made me think, I am going through all of this effort for everybody else to come and have the opportunity to make money, for all the athletes to come and have fun. Everybody comes and has a blast because it's a well-run event. And then at the end of the day, it cost me money. I did it for a few years because the legacy of the event, what this means to Tobago, it's far beyond what you would think. And it was something that my dad and I started 20 years ago, and to give up on that, I really tried to keep it going. And even though it was costing me money, I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Maybe things will get better. Maybe we'll get some sponsorship. And then the sponsorship, everybody's just kind of like, nah, boy, we can't help. We're cutting back. And so after a while of everything cutting back and people can't help, and and then you're watching Carnival and you're watching all this bacchanal and money clearly being spent. But then I am suffering to try to put on a sporting event, which does great for our community. It gives our children discipline. It gives our children a goal to work towards. And I always tell everybody this story. When I was 14 years old, I had the opportunity or the choice of hanging out with a certain set of people or going to train on the track with Memphis Pioneers. And that's the path I chose. I went to Memphis Pioneers. Then I got invited to a youth triathlon. Then, I went and did that. I came 6th overall in the youth in my age group. And then I fell in love with the sport from then. And then went on to become national champion and maintained that for 9 years. Traveled the world doing the sport of triathlon, went to World Championships, Commonwealth Games. Now I'm a technical official and international technical official level 2. There were only 3 levels. So I've been to Commonwealth Games as a technical official, World Championships, and the last big thing that I went to was the Olympic Games as a technical official. And all of this stemmed because I made that one choice to go to the running track instead of hanging out with guys who were smoking and drinking and up to no good. And best decision I ever made. So I mean, all of this is history, is legacy, and it's something I want to pass on. I want to give other people that opportunity, that through sport you could have a totally different life. And the people that get scholarships and all that stuff will know that the opportunities that sport allowed. Whereas you go to a fete and what you're doing, you're driving home drunk most times. Next day you're going to work hungover. How is this benefiting? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to go to a party every once in a while and have a good time. But if this is where the focus is from the corporate sector of Trinidad and Tobago. This is what we focus on rather than focusing on sport. And when we have young leaders growing up like that, these people are the ones that are going to get the university education, get the better paying jobs, and they are the ones that are going to be able to offer value to Trinidad and Tobago. So
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, it's not rocket science to figure out that this is where we should put our focus on.
And Jason, I mean, between now and next year, let's say you come and you get a platinum sponsor. I mean, that can salvage, I mean, the legacy of this event here in Tobago.
Yeah, of course, for sure. I mean, that's the only thing to bring me back right now.
Yeah.
The fact that I have to work for the rest of the year to pay for this event out of my pocket. So I mean, everything that I am doing, I'm now taking funds from there. And I mean, I do a bunch of jobs.
Yeah.
So you know, I go down to Guyana and manage races. We have
Yeah.
Odyssey and events that we do race timing and all that stuff. So I'm taking money from all of those other things to be able to pay for one event, which you know it shouldn't be like that, especially when they have the powers that be that have budgets for these things. We have government entities that have budgets for these things, and sometimes
Yes.
they feel like they think it's their own personal money and they don't want to, you know, it's all about who you know and all these kind of things. But this is we're not a fly by night organization. We've been in Tobago for 20 years, you know, and I remember coming here the first time to Tobago, people just didn't know how to pronounce the word triathlon. Triathlon, triathlon, all kinds of words, you know. And then I realized over the years, people started knowing the name of the
appreciate
sport.
it.
People started, when they see me there, anytime they see, I could go to Tobago on holidays.
Yeah, household
And they
name now.
say,
Household
"Oh,
name.
you know, and I'm like, no, it's in June. I just over here because, you know,
Right.
I would have come for
Yeah.
the Tobago Cycling Classic, or I would have come for something else, you know. But it was great to see that Tobago, we got the support from Tobago, we got the buy-in from Tobago, and the community of BlackRock, tremendous. I mean, some people will pick off us or whatever, but at the end of the day, they come out there and they support the sport. The athletes come and have a fantastic time in going through BlackRock, between Pleasant Prospect and BlackRock, which we close off. It's one of the only race courses that totally car free, you know, and we have to thank ACP more about 8 or 10 years ago for actually allowing that, you know, because it's been 10 years since we've been trying to get the roads totally blocked off, and you know, I had to go in and say, wait, we're waiting for somebody to get knocked down, and knocked down. That'll be the last time I ever put on an event in Tobago, and then, you know, we tried it the first year, worked out well, and then after that it was a breeze, and you know, so it is a little bit of discomfort for the community.
Yeah.
But we are very thankful. We're very grateful for them, and you know, hopefully they could see the benefit. I know some people in the community see the benefits.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of kids from the community coming out and taking part in the event, and we get a lot of volunteers from the community doing it, and people come on the side of the road and block it and cheer on and that kind of thing, you know. And then you can see the support even the week before, because we have cyclists and athletes coming in there from the Wednesday before the races on Saturday. It's always been the second Saturday in for as long as we can remember. First race starts at 7 o'clock. Everything is long at Turtle Beach. And we have the standard distance triathlon, which is the distance they do at the Olympic Games, followed by the sprint, which is half of that distance. And at 11 o'clock, we have a 10 to 12 and 13 to 15-year-old race. And this is where we select our Carifta team.
Right.
So that goes on, and then it's side by side with that event, there's a try event, where for anybody that wants to try the sport of triathlon, this is the perfect opportunity to try that event, because the distances are short. It's like a 375-meter swim, a 10-kilometer cycle, and a 2.5-kilometer run. So, I mean, almost anybody could do that with a little bit of training, you know? And then following that, we have a 3 to 5-year-old, because my daughter, my smallest daughter is my youngest, is 3 years old. So I'm like, I throw in a category for her. So they have 3 to 5-year-olds, the cutest little thing. I mean, they don't go far at all, but it's fun to watch them compete, and that is giving them the spark to want to do this sport or any other sport as they get older. And then we have a 79 category, and after that we finish off with a 5K, and the 5K runs the same course as the triathlon, where you leave from Turtle Beach, you go down towards Pleasant Prospect, do the loop around Grafton Beach and come back. And we always use Starfish Hotel as a turnaround point to we run into the hotel and come back out. So, it's a very nice and spectator friendly event, and we encourage everyone to come down. I encourage anybody that could lend a hand when it comes to financial contributions and sponsorship. Tobago has always been very tough when it comes to asking anybody to get any cash. The first thing I get is, we can't help you, boy, things tough. For years and years and years, I've been hearing that. So, sadly, I outside of the THA a few years ago, there's very little to none of financial support from any of the Tobago businesses. And this should be a fantastic opportunity for your corporate social responsibility, to fulfill those corporate social responsibility needs, because you relying on the community for your business to succeed, but yet when it's time to give a little bit back to the community, it's a hem and a haw and oh boy, things tough. And how I don't see the math there in that. So I'm making a plea to the Tobago community, the Trinidad and Tobago community, anybody that could support this event, the powers that be, help me to maintain this event, and let's see it going for another 10 years. I would love that. I don't want to give up at 20 years. I mean, I feel like we've already put in 20 years. Why not carry it on, And my sister's doing a fantastic job, and hopefully she could take over when I get old and gray and she has extra 10 years on me. She could carry it, and then hopefully we get somebody else to keep it on. But I mean, wouldn't it be great to see this thing, like 30, 40 years of Rainbow Cup, and right here in Tobago, and we get more and more people coming down to the event, more and more people coming to Tobago. This will be a landmark event for Tobago where people look forward to it every year. Tobagonians look forward, Trinidadians look forward to coming over. The regional athletes and spectators come over. They're looking forward to something in Tobago, and it can't always be bump and grind and that sort of stuff. It has to be something more fruitful, which is sport. And I would be very happy to get the support to be able to continue this event.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you have said it all there, Jason, and I'm very confident that you would have sold Tobago and of course, Trinidad and Tobago by extension for us to continue to have this wonderful event here in Tobago. I mean, 20 years is no easy feat, especially in the event management world, and something of such magnitude, I think, needs to be continued. So I'm hoping that obviously all the hundreds and thousands who normally view this program, that someone would have heard your plea this morning, and they will reach out to you to allow us to continue to have this wonderful event in Tobago, because you mentioned so many benefits. And as a while ago, you mentioned that this is where you picked the character team as well. Character team, right? And obviously sport tourism. So I want to thank you so much for being here this morning, Jason. I'm looking forward to the thousands and the hundreds coming to Tobago on June 7th. And not just the 7th, but they're going to come in before. Of course, enjoy Peace of Tobago, and I'm really hoping that, the powers that we can support the event going forward.
Thank you very much. And I have to follow the master show in Winchester when I say thanks to the media for giving us the coverage and the support, because without the media, nobody would know about these things. Unless you physically come down to the event, you're not going to know about it. So thanks to all the media that has been supporting the event, Tobago and Trinidad, that write and give us, little articles and coverage and all that stuff. We really appreciate you guys. And we look forward to seeing you on 7th of June down at Turtle Beach.
Thank you so much.
If you need more information, you can go to rainbowcuptobago.com. That will give you all the information on the event, and everything is there, rainbowcuptobago.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jason. Looking forward to seeing you. Fantastic. Guys, we've been chatting there with Jason Gooding, event coordinator of the Rainbow Cup Tobago International Triathlon event. Still, I got some good vibes coming from him there. We expect that, some entity, whether corporate or government, will jump on board to support the Rainbow Cup. Well, we take a break. We're going to take a short break and return with Joshua James. Joshua James, the cricketer out of Tobago, doing big things for himself, his family, and community. Take a short break. We return with Joshua James.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games, and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and low, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and low. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Updates Television. Into the sporting segment, just had a really good conversation there with Jason Goodin out of the Tobago International Triathlon, the Rainbow Cup. Talking about the event to happen on the 7th of June this year. This time, we're going to be talking some cricket. We're going to talk to Joshua Michael James, a very top all-rounder representing Tobago, representing Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm hoping very soon the West Indies. Good morning to you, Joshua.
Good morning, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes, man. Just like you're up and about already this morning.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, just a short conversation on your recent representation for the national team in the West Indies Breakout League. I mean, let's share that experience for us. I mean, of course, congratulations to you and congratulations to the team on being victorious. But let's tell us about your experience there.
Yeah. Thanks. First time for the Breakout tournament. I think it was a really good experience. Really good being a part of the tournament and playing with the Trinidad and Tobago. You know, you always want to play with your home team. Really good bunch of guys, staff, an amazing coach. I think it was really good. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody had pretty much the same goal. And I think everybody put their best foot forward and we came out to the result that we wanted.
Yeah, and what do you think was the key to Trinidad and Tobago's success? Because I mean, if I check back, you guys were only defeated once. I mean, what would have contributed? What you feel would have contributed to the success of the team?
I think the mindset of the guys. I think in every game, I think we didn't play with best cricket yet. But every game, someone new stepped up to the challenge, and I think with that bunch of guys, the team was really strong. It just needed like 2 or 3 guys to come to the party, and then anything could be possible.
Yeah, and would you want to see this tournament continue, because we have this CPL, which is deemed the Caribbean T20 League, but this breakout league would have given other players who normally would not get the opportunity to really play for a CPL team, because I mean you played with Jamaica Talawas and then Antigua. The new team is Antigua, the Antigua team. But I mean, we only get to see you for 1 or 2 games. I mean, do you prefer this breakout league, or I mean, the thing about the CPL, the crowd and the hype and everything? Which do you prefer?
I think I still prefer the big CPL, but this one gives you a better chance to be selected on one of the big teams. I think I was saying, like, from this tournament, the CPL teams had to pick like 3 people from every team. So I think this year might be a little different about getting opportunities.
Yeah, and as you mentioned that 3 persons may be selected, you're looking forward to be one of the 3 selected from Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, for sure, for sure.
And Joshua, of course, it is in the public domain and, of course, in the news that during the competition that you were suspending from bowling for what is deemed an illegal bowling action. There are a lot of persons who may not understand, but they were very concerned about Joshua James, the all-rounder, not being able to bowl. Still, kudos to the management for allowing you to play as a batter. You care to explain, if you can, what does the suspension mean for you, and what's the next step?
Yeah, after it won, yeah, it's nothing much. I know I could always contribute to the bat, but I think I need to continue the remedial work with Coach Riyadh. So hopefully I'll be back out to the bowling soon. So I ain't really concerned about it, because I know I could bowl.
Right. And you're not sure how long this process will take for you to get back, to be cleared?
No, I ain't too sure.
Okay.
But I think
you mentioned...
up to me how far.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it up to me. When I start back doing the bowling, I had to take like some proper videos and with some footage and send it back to the West Indies Cricket Board, and for them to send it to England for the people to check it and play.
Yeah, and what seemed to be the concern of those that are, observing the bowling actions of cricketers throughout the world, because obviously this case would have been taken high up. Hence the reason that they were asked to have a further look at your action. What seemed to be the problem? Is it a kink in your elbow? What seemed to be the uncomfortableness from those in charge?
Yeah, the last thing I saw is like the elbow have a 15-degree bend.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's something that Coach Riyadh and yourself have been working seriously on to be ironed out. I mean, what sort of coach is Coach Riyadh Emirates?
Good man, a real good man. Kind, helpful, always there to support you when you need. Good man.
Yeah. And what's next for you, Joshua? Outside of you, going through this remedial work, you are now on a little break. What's next for you?
No. When I continue the training, the breaks will be very long. I will continue playing the Premier 1 cricket in Trinidad and continue doing my work while I'm there.
Yeah, and who are you playing with in Trinidad in the Premier 1?
Power Gen Cricket Club.
Oh, so you moved from Clarko to Power Gen?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Because I know that we have some tours coming up. West Indies 18 going to be involved. I mean, any aspirations of being selected there, or what's your long-term goal? And of course, I have to congratulate you as well for also being selected for your first senior team, playing with the 4-day team, of course, this year, and now with the breakout team. I mean, is there any pressure on Joshua James being the lone Tobagonian in the mix?
Yeah, I think it's the real pressure. The whole of Tobago behind me, my family. I want to do them proud. And after being called for the illegal bowling action, I was recently subbed off from the West Indies A team. So, no, there's a big disappointment to me and to Tobago. But I just had to go back and continue doing my remedial work, and hopefully next time I will be there.
Yeah. So and mentally, because I mean, it must have hit hard when you were told that, I mean, I will have to not drop you, but remove you from the team until that action is cleared from the West Indies A team, because I'm sure representing the Maroon, that has to be your goal.
Yes, for sure. That's my goal. That is what I'm playing cricket for, and that is one of my dreams. So
yeah,
it hit me hard, but it's my fault in a way. So I have to continue doing the work to be back there.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm loving the positivity there, because, as you said, Coach Red Emirates, very experienced, also represented West Indies and would have had a number of years in the red, white and black. And I'm sure that he is right by your side. And I'm happy that you also mentioned family. And I'm for a fact that obviously the Tobago Cricket Association and other members, they are there supporting you. I'm also happy to hear that you are still going out there and play in Trinidad as well with Powergen, a decent club. I mean, how many matches remaining in the season for Powergen?
I think in the 2 days tournament, it have like 2 more games, and then it had the 50 overs to start right after. It have about 8 games still to go.
Yeah, fantastic. Joshua, I want to thank you so much for being here this morning. And obviously, I really hope that you can get over this difficult period in your career as an all-rounder. I must say, all of Tobago enjoyed watching at you, especially hitting all those big sixes and stuff. And we are looking forward to seeing much more from you coming up later on this year in the CPL. And I know for a fact, even though you may not be allowed to bowl, they're going to be selecting you as a fields man. I mean, tell me about that catch you took on the boundary. Did you ever think that you would have actually caught the ball and overbalance and go over? I mean, let's take me through that catch.
When I saw the ball coming, the thing was on my mind is to catch it.
You have probably lost Joshua there. Yeah, we have lost Joshua. We have lost Joshua there. But yeah, of course, always good talking to our fellow cricketer. And Joshua James, very, very much impressed with Joshua and all of Tobago. We are very much impressed with him. Always good to see one of our players and young players, whether it's cricket, whether it's football, whatever discipline. Could be sport, entertainment, whatever it is, doing good on the international stage. And we do have high hopes of Joshua James. Commendation to him again. Just a minor stumbling block or a minor hurdle in front of him. And I'm happy to hear that Coach Red Emirates and the team, they have built a really good family-oriented atmosphere there. And I'm expecting that, he's going to get rid of that kink and come back and come back even stronger. Happy to also to hear that he is still continuing, even in the break, to go out there and play in Trinidad, the Premier Division 1. Expecting to see him come later this year in the CPL as well. So, viewers, brings to an end this wonderful program, the sport program. Have you figured out where that photo is located in Tobago? Yes, Jesus Hill. If you guessed that location, Jesus Hill in Table Peace, Tobago. Wonderful photo taken there by Mr. Joe Field. The cyclists, the mountain bikers, they will know exactly where this location is. Wonderful photo taken there. Thank you so much, Mr. Joe Field, for your contribution there. Viewers, thank you so much for being tuned to this sporting segment. Friday, 16th May 2025. All right, I'm going to hand you guys over to Good Morning Tobago. But of course, don't forget, share the live. Share the live.
ceremony serves as a event of the department's commemorative activities in observance of the National Labour Organization's World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2025. This year's theme, Revolutionizing Health and Safety, the Role of AI and Digitalization at Work, inspired the OSH department to integrate technology into all major activities.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think safety could be overlooked. And as I did in my research, I noticed that it costs billions actually. And the loss of life is in the millions. Just because people are not mindful of some of the simple things. You know, and to have it highlighted in this way is really beneficial.
The fact that persons are now more aware of it, and we see that there is a widening of information. So more persons are now informed about occupational safety and health, and as a result of such, they're actually helping to implement these things in the workplace, and by such, they are now able to put it out there.
When I first was invited to join the safety committee, I understand that safety is part of everything that we do, so it was an easy fit. Safety is part of me. It's not like I went out there looking just to look for an award. I was actually surprised when I was awarded. It was just me doing my work, understanding that safety is over everything.
This is the second year in a row I've won Employee of the Year, and honestly, it caught me by surprise, right? Yes, I work hard. I'm very, dedicated to my job. Probably a little too much. But it feels good that I'm actually recognized for making a change within my division.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor. So wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers.
Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Tobago here on Tobago Updates Television. I know I am not the usual face for this program, but I am who you have this morning. And I'm so happy that you are here with us, and I'm hoping that you can stay throughout the entire program this morning as we go through the very, very important conversations. But before we do that, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has confirmed that the new session of Parliament will formally commence on May 23, 2025. At a post-cabinet media briefing yesterday, Persad-Bissessar confirmed that the clerk will read the President's proclamation to declare the start of the first session of the 13th Parliament. The first sitting of both houses is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. The Prime Minister also stated that the first bill to be introduced will repeal the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority Act. Additionally, the Cabinet has adopted the UNC's manifesto as its official government policy. The government has launched a probe into foreign exchange distribution and leakages over the past decade. This was announced by Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar yesterday. A public report will be compiled by Finance Minister Davendranath Kanku, Planning Minister Kennedy Swarat Singh, and Trade Minister Satya Kamaya Maraj. Persad-Bissessar said the findings will identify key users, facilitators, and expose any collusion between businesses and operatives. Former Prime Minister Stuart Young has also raised concerns about forex allocation, access for citizens, and rising bank charges, citing inefficiencies despite cost-cutting measures like digital banking transitions. And finally, despite earlier statements by Finance Minister Davendranath Kanku, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar confirmed that there will be no refunds for property tax already paid. Persad-Bissessar clarified that only Kanku mentioned refunds and questioned how he planned to fund them. She reaffirmed plans to repeal the property tax and scrap the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, calling it politically motivated and non-functional. She emphasized strengthening the Board of Inland Revenue instead. Labour Minister Leroy Batiste also criticized the TTRA, citing poor worker buy-in and lack of consultation. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Viewers, we are so happy that you are with us this morning, and we do hope that you could stay with us for the entire programming. Before we start our conversations, we are requesting your help. Yes, we are rallying the help of all of our viewers, all of Tobago. If you could come together to help us with a situation that was sent in by one of our viewers this morning. There is a turtle who is distressed at the Turtle Beach area, and we are hoping that help can be given. I will share the video with you right now.
Yes, people, morning. On Turtle Beach this morning, I went for a little run, right? And I encountered a turtle that tangled up in a netting in the sea there. If anybody could help, it tangled up in the netting there. Right? Anybody who could help, or you come and help, please. Yes, people. This morning on Turtle Beach here, a turtle tangled up in the netting of a seine or something out there. Anybody that could help, or please, or you come and assist to get this turtle released. Right, it tangled up bad out there. Right, I ain't seen nobody else on the beach that could help or anything. So let's share quickly. Anybody who up or come and share this video, share this live and get somebody helping this turtle, please. Please. On Turtle Beach. In Plymouth there, Corland Bay, close up to the end by the jetty. Somebody or little please come up and assist in helping the turtle get free. The tangle up bad in the netting out there. Anybody who could share to somebody who know about those things. Please, anybody who is up, or let's share the live on Turtle Beach, close up by the jetty side up there. A turtle tangle up in the netting out there, real bad. Right, you could see it just going wrong and wrong and wrong. Can't get released.
A very, very unfortunate situation happening there. And this also is applied for all of us to let us be responsible in the way we dispose of our garbage, because as we can see, others are distressed by the things we take for granted. So I'm hoping that help can be provided there to relieve that turtle from the stress it is going through on that Turtle Beach. Also today we are observing World Day of the Boy Child. World Day of the Boy Child is observed today, May 16th, and the theme this year is building self-esteem in boys. Stand up, be heard, be seen. So we celebrate with our boys, and I'm asking that all of Trinidad and Tobago can stand in support of, provide encouragement to our boys, and ensure that they have all they need to excel in every area of their lives. Boys are important. They are the ones who grow up to be men in our society, and we know that men hold a very, very important role, a very, very important pillar in our society, and so we need to start encouraging them from even now. Let us not take them for granted. In studio this morning, we're going to have conversations with Mr. Max James, former Labor Secretary of the MBA HR Management. We're talking about the Assembly versus the Industrial Court. As you are aware, there's a situation that we have to deal with, and so we're going to have that conversation this morning, and we do hope you could stay with us. Later on in the program, we speak with Mr. Don Grant. He is the executive producer of Tobago Fashion Coda, and of course we're going to be talking about that as well. We have to go for a short break, but as soon as we come back, we will begin conversations. So do stay with us.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion starts.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Mr. Max James, former Labor Secretary, and we're talking about this situation, as you are aware, that's in the public space. It's been in the media, in the news, and of course we all have our own opinions. But we're going to have the conversation this morning as it relates to the Tobago House of Assembly now facing the Industrial Court and being told that they have to pay $3 million to 13 employees whose contracts were terminated. Good morning, Mr. James, and welcome.
Good morning to you, Ms. Comby.
Right, a pleasure having you in studio this morning. Now, it's no secret. the information is out there, and this has happened. We know that 13 employees were sent home. We want to get the details in terms of, because I want to go through the entire process. I don't just want to start at the fact that the THA has to pay $3 million, right? I want to go through the process in terms of how the contracts were terminated, how the unit was scrapped, whatever happened there in that arrangement that caused 13 employees to be out of a job and leading to where we are now. So let's go through the phases. How did we get here?
Well, okay. Let me see if I can detail the history of the matter. So when the TPP administration under Mr. Augustine came into office, I think sometime in 2021, am I correct? Well, of course, every administration has a right to do what it thinks it should do in respect of its policies, in respect of its mandate, and to find the best way forward in managing its units and divisions under its control, and to determine at what speed it should do so and how it should do so. So you don't fault an administration for doing that. All administrations have done that. PNM did that as well, even as early as when in 2001, when Mr. Orville London became the Chief Secretary. So there's a history of administrations taking such actions as it deemed fit in respect or in pursuance of their mandate. So it's nothing new. What the court is interested in is the how and the process, whether procedurally or substantively. And I'll break down those terms for you in a while. All right. Recently, when the PNM came into power sometime in 2010 or thereabouts, the Ministry of Tobago Development was scrapped. There have been several employees over the course of the different administrations where the employees have always won the THA. The unions have always won their cases. And it appears to me, as an industrial relations person, as a former trade union officer, and in many respects I still am, the administrations don't learn.
And I was just about, what you're saying, it really leads to that, because if you're saying each time this action is taken, and rightfully so, they have, the leeway to do, you bring in, you ensure that your mandate is established, your policies, whatever. But if this happens every single time, is it not something that needs to be assessed and approached to be taken differently?
Yes, there's a significant problem within the political class in Tobago in particular. And the Prime Minister had to comment on a larger issue now, where lawyers are being paid substantial sums of money. Matters have to go to court, and workers take long to get a solution to the matter. And it puts them at a significant disadvantage. In the particular case, where 13 workers were dismissed or sent home, whichever term you want to use, retrenched, the court considered the matter and ruled in favor of the workers. The judgment being delivered, the Chief Secretary, I heard, decided that he is going to appeal. I'm not here to support any party, whether the Chief Secretary or the workers. But it appears from the ruling of the court and from the evidence that was tendered, evidence that was pleaded, that the workers had a case, and the court ruled in favor of the workers. Now, my thing is that you met the workers there. It's their bread and butter. You may have political differences, but there's a pathway, a very narrow pathway, which you must follow if you want to change the workers. You don't like them, or you feel this unit in particular, you don't need it. That's the employer's right. So as I began, I'm restating what the court is interested in is the pathway that you take in proceeding with your mandate or your policy or to achieve your policy ends. It appears from the evidence pleaded that the chief administrator at the time, Mr. Edwin John, would not have, in the opinion of the court, conducted the necessary consultations. And the court, from the evidence pleaded, determinations were handled in a very abrupt way. Another issue is the question of compensation. Now, there was a significant unused part of the contract of the workers, and therefore the court felt that if you're going to make the situation whole again, you needed to compensate those workers who did not complete their contract of employment. Some people had contracts about 3 years, and there was an unused part for about 9 months, some 10 months, some a year. There were different periods where the contracts were not completed. In the opinion of the court, the workers' situation should be made whole. It can't be that you are appealing a matter and yet you don't, and you say, listen, your contract, we are not going to renew your contract. So if you're not going to renew your contract, then why not pay people to the end of their contract? It is your right not to renew the contract. You might in fact be wrong based on the whole question of legitimate expectations, and in this case they close down the entire unit. But so if you're not going to allow persons to continue on a next contract, then you have a duty to compensate them for unused part of their contract. It just makes sense.
Mr. James, I know that you are well educated on this topic. One thing that I was wondering, right, what are some of the things that caused the administration, and when I say the administration, I mean the Tobago House of Assembly, to drop the ball in terms of how this was handled, how this was managed? Because you're saying, okay, this is where we are now. You close down the units, and you're saying that they must compensate their workers. But before we even get to that, when we're talking about closing down the unit, from the reports, it states that they were in the process of restructuring, and none of these things seem to have happened in the period.
So,
right.
So if you're going to restructure, the first thing that has to happen is a directive from the Executive Council. The Executive Council has to meet, a minute has to be provided, a note has to be provided, which ends up being a minute or an instruction or an authority to do these sets of things. If that doesn't occur, then there's no proper legal basis under which a particular secretary, whoever it is, could have been me, could act. It appears that was not done. Then before you could retrench, there are certain steps that must be taken. So you had to get a minute. It's not stated in the law, but that is the authority because you're in the public service, right? So you have to get a minute. Then you have to give notice. If there's a union, you have to notify the union, 45 days notice. Then you have to enter into consultations with the union/workers. If there's no trade union in place, then all the workers have to be consulted. Then you have to look at alternatives to separation. The court is a court of common sense, a court of social justice. The court looks at those things because the court will consider persons who have been working for so long. They would have entered into loan agreements, there have been financial commitments here and there. And for you, after so long, these people have been in employment for about more than 10 years in some cases. All right? And then it would appear to the court that something is wrong. Now, if you were saying you had consultations, where are those minutes? If you're saying that you are restructuring, where's the organizational chart? All right? There must be some evidence. There was no evidence in respect of those steps. Nobody was notified properly. You call them in, you have a little conversation, they issued a letter, they sent home. And that is egregious. And the court is saying, listen, no, that can't happen. But the court did not order reinstatement. It would not, only on very special circumstances, might order reinstatement. So the court took a very narrow pathway, that is to say, we won't order reinstatement, but you must compensate. So the question arises, on what grounds are you really going to appeal?
I was just about to ask, the grounds to appeal it here.
We will come to that. And but there are certain social and socio-political considerations. I mean to say, these are people. The question of the political affiliation and allegiances and so forth would arise. And the court is saying, no, you can't do that. And time after time after time, all the administrations are making that same mistake. The PNM made that mistake for about 16 years, or maybe 20 years. And the TPP also made the same mistake. The court is not going to question your right to separate. It will question the process. And they always lose on the process because people are bloodthirsty. I don't want them people. Listen, PNM do the same thing. And they lick up our people, we go lick up their people. Those are the things that are said privately, but not openly. And the court will get under that, get beneath that to correct that wrong. And the ILO convention says, listen, workers have to be protected in spite of their political affiliation.
And I want to talk about the politics of the thing, right? And I know there's something called political science, of which I have no background. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. But is it not, political science, would it not say, let's study things, let us come up with a strategy for things. Yes, this is what we want to do. As you said, separation is, is acceptable, but the approach, how are we going to do this? We have seen so many administrations fail at this and having to pay, they got burnt by this because of the approach. Yes, I want a change because I am now the administration. And so this is my policy, this is my mandate, and this is how I want to do things. But how to do we do the politicians study the how-to part of it, or is it that they just immediacy? I want to get it done now by any means necessary. Is that, how do you apply the political science in that to ensure that the how-to is done to perfection?
Well, I wouldn't say that's a question of political science. It's a question of governance, right? It's a question of corporate governance. Of course, it is flavored with some politics, not necessarily political science. Political science has to do with the systems,
tell you I'm not expert,
and ideology and so forth. And there's some administration involved in it,
right?
All right, but it's a question of governance. The module will be under the scope of corporate governance. For all intents and purposes, the administration is a corporate body, and therefore it applies. How you do it is the issue. Now, so you have persons who will advise the chief secretary, and I don't blame him too much, but I think he's wrongly advised and continues to accept worthless opinions from people who are about him, including some secretaries who have their biases or their political biases. They have to be careful. Tobago is a small society. Where are you going to run to go? People are going to find you out. So that when you take bad advice, that's the issue. When you take advice that is loaded with spite and vindictiveness, that's the issue. So the question is, some lawyer or some untrained industrial relations officer will say, yes, you can do it. And they cook up a story, not understanding the whole question of human resource management in the context of industrial relations. It's a whole separate issue and body of information and so on that you must bring together to determine the best way forward. You have to be well schooled in industrial relations. When should I do it? How should is the industrial act been followed? Is the collective agreement, for if that one exists, is it been followed? So when you take advice from lawyers who only want money in their pocket, you will get that kind of advice. And then people are afraid to tell the chief secretary, no, sir, don't do that. Because one of the important things for the court in terms of the pathway towards separation, were there alternatives? Could these people have been placed elsewhere? And if you dig deep in terms of the human resource management of the assembly, I would say unabashedly, that yes, you could have found some form of employment for them elsewhere. There are many divisions, but it's a reluctance to hire people that you believe to be P&M or TPP. Both sides have done it. So we have to go back to have some sanity in our industrial relations practice in Tobago. And the court would have ruled, look, you must compensate them. Might be to the tune of $3.5 million. And there are different awards for the different persons who separated.
And the question of the grounds for appeal, we're going to deal with that when we come back from the break. We have to go for a short break, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, we have bills to pay. And so we do hope that you could stay with us. When we return, we continue the conversation this morning. Be a part of the conversation. Remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook and YouTube live streams so that we know that you're a part of what is happening here this morning. In the meantime, take in these announcements and we'll be right back after the break.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
To
welcome back to GMT, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue conversations this morning with Mr. Max James. He is a former Labour Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly and the holder of an MBA in HR Management. As you are aware, we are talking about the situation that the Tobago House of Assembly now faces with having to pay out $3 million to 13 workers whose contracts were terminated before completion. Before we went to the break, we were kind of breaking down where we are, how we got here, and the things that transpired that brought us to this position now. And I know you want to share some information in terms of what the court said, because now we're getting into, does the administration now have grounds for appealing? But before we get there, let's hear what the court is saying.
Well, on paragraph 70 of the judgment, it says, in considering appropriate compensation to the workers, for the workers, the court takes into account their manner of dismissal. All right? Which was sudden and in which they were not provided with the opportunity for consultation or to explore alternative employment. I discussed that before. In circumstances where that were akin to retrenchment, no payment was made for their past service or for loss of office. Further, there was no credible evidence that they were paid for outstanding vacation leave. So the court finds it fair and just to award the workers for their outstanding vacation leave and payment for the remainder of their period of respective contracts. The court also finds it just to order the payment of prorated gratuity for the period served under their respective contracts existing at the time of the employment, at the time the employment was terminated. The court, and this is important, the court finds this payment to the workers or for the time worked since gratuity is usually paid upon the satisfactory completion of employment. The payment of gratuity is to be based on their basic rate of pay unless their contracts provided for the inclusion of allowances in the computation of the gratuity. So what all this is saying here is that, look, the people had outstanding gratuity, normally paid at the end of their contracts, but there was an unused part of their contracts. The court is saying in terms of their discretion, and you can't out the discretion of the court. You can't appeal the discretion of the court. You can appeal if when I go through the grounds of appeal, if there's overreach or degree to which you do something. So the court will entertain degree and in terms of how the court might have ruled. That's the appeal court will entertain appeal on whether the court exceeded its jurisdiction or the degree to what it entered or did something. So the court is saying here, you have to prorate the gratuity for the time that they worked. Isn't that fair? I mean, the test of things are, if you go down the road and you ask 10 persons, the court or the law says, if you ask 10 persons, that's reasonable. We're not operating as a jury here, but any person, reasonable person will say, but if the person worked for a period of time and you have no fault with their performance, satisfactory performance, that is, if their performance had been satisfactory, but you didn't do the performance appraisal or the whole performance management aspect of the employment, so the court found that not to be so. So what the employer has to do is to pay for it, because you didn't conduct an appraisal. There's no proper performance management system in place, so you have no legs to stand on. No, you could only appeal. You can't appeal on question of fact, because those are facts. And if you did not raise anything during the proceedings as to the jurisdiction of the court, then you can't appeal. So let's go to the...
Before you go there, I want to stay on the gratuity part a little bit, right? Because they can argue that, yes, the contract was not completed, and the fact that gratuity is paid upon successful completion. I really want to cover all the bases. I want to ensure that we understand where we are. Is it possible for the appraisal to be done retroactively now that we're in this position?
Well, the court has already ruled and made an award.
Right.
So that is of little consequence. It doesn't arise again. The matter is done. They're separated. So we can't, if they were to perhaps be reemployed, continue from the date that they were dismissed. So there's no air between that. And you may wish to consider that. and to make it whole from that period up until now, perhaps. But the assembly doesn't have a proper functioning performance management system. Everybody knows that. And that is at the basis of their problems. Because the court will look at the relationship, how we operated, how we did, how we related whilst I was in your employment or during the course of my employment with you. The court is big on process. And you can't just, you are government, you're an organization. So things have to be organized. Things have to be done properly. And there are rules in the workplace that govern the terms and conditions of employment. There are rules that govern performance, principles that govern performance. And the court says you must abide by those kinds of things. You can't breach. There's a duty of care. There's a duty for the employer to act in good fidelity. All right? So the court will consider those things, how quickly you did things. So the retrenchment issue or the separation, not really retrenchment, but the separation issue, if you're talking about restructuring, you can't deal with it at the end. So you have to deal with it at the beginning. And there are no executive council minutes. There's no evidence of a organizational chart. There's no evidence that the workers were consulted in respect of who will go where, if they're going to keep them on, and where can we find alternative employment within the assembly. The court is a court of social justice, primarily. And it must be unjust to send home 13 persons without giving them a right to be heard. All right? So that's the substantive issue. It's a question of natural justice. Did I get a right to be heard? That's the procedural aspect. Was I given 45 days notice? That's the procedural aspect. The substantive issue is a question of fairness. Did the employer act fairly? And the court found them. I know of either one of them, the assembly's case would have been thrown out. So did the assembly act procedurally correct? No. No case for them. Did they act substantively fair? No. No case for them. So what are you going to appeal on? This is what the law says. The law says that, well, you can only appoint an appeal on perhaps three very narrow points or areas. On a point of law, whether the judgment was obtained by fraud or whether the court did not have jurisdiction or exceeded its jurisdiction in the matter. Of course, the judgment wasn't obtained by fraud, so we have to X that out. Did the court exceed or didn't have jurisdiction? They all found to be workers, and the court is established to deal with disputes that involve workers, so its jurisdiction is in place. So the Chief Secretary can't appeal on that ground or the other ground. What are the points of law? I'm hard pressed to find any point of law because that is not the case, because it acted wrongly procedurally and it acted wrongly substantively. So there's absolutely no ground for the Chief Secretary to appeal except the fancy lawyer or the former Minister of Justice now working elsewhere in the Assembly and other places, where she might tell him, yeah, because she claims to be a litigator. And I hope that he takes the advice that I've offered this morning and early in this week on another station. It comes now to the whole question of social justice. And I will say to the Chief Secretary, let me go down to the colloquial, oh God, Chief Secretary, please do the right thing. These people are mothers. Don't let the tears of the widows, who are, some of them are involved in this matter, fall upon you. These are people who, some of them, I know, based on their evidence, who turned around and voted for you and your party. The political capital that you have can be quickly evaporated because there are other matters coming up quickly during the remaining portion of this year. And it's the same issue that concerns the workers of TATCO, who were dismissed even after they were asked, do you want to continue your career? There are no executive council minutes that give that instruction. You have a board and a secretary doing what they think they should do. And then you are now going to distress the workers further by appealing. What are you doing to do? I in my little business, me and a rich person, I had to employ one of the ladies that 4 children. Social justice requires the chief secretary to make it whole for the workers. I'm asking the chief secretary in that other matter to withdraw the matter.
Let me ask this,
because the
Mr. James.
OWTU is a very powerful union.
Let me ask this question, right? In terms
And
of...
let me just finish the sentence. The OWT is a very powerful union. They are well versed in industrial relations. And the assembly, based on all the case precedents, they are on the verge of losing that matter. It comes up in August. And I'm saying we don't need to have further disruption in the society. We need to do it right for our people. The board was wrong in that case. We're not going to try the matter, but the secretary was wrong in that case, and people are suffering. The chief secretary said before he came into office that a worker should not have to fight for something he or she is entitled to. On the larger level, we have a right, may not be a fundamental right, some cases it is in some jurisdictions, a right to work and decent work. And you have to be careful when you decide to separate workers. It should be the last choice. That's what the court says.
I want to ask this question, Mr. James. I want to go back to the appeal. If the chief secretary or the administration decides that they are going to appeal the current case that we're talking about, what is it going to cost the taxpayers? What is it going to cost the assembly to appeal the case?
Well, I don't know what the lawyers are going to charge.
No, not in terms of the... not in terms of the figure. What is it going to cost in terms of resources? Is it going to deplete the resources? Is there going to be a charge? Is there going to be a cost attached to it?
Well, the only cost is what he's going to pay.
Just the legal fees.
The legal cost,
Okay.
the legal fees. And the longer it takes, the court might, if the union applies or makes amends or asks the court in terms of the compensation, might say, might be forced, or may be forced to order exemplary or punitive damages or add interest to it. But the court may not want to go there because it can raise a legal point in terms of punitive and exemplary damages. But it does so in extreme cases. So if you appeal, it's a danger, and the court may or may not decide to go that far. However, I think the cost to the assembly will be a political cost. Because if you multiply 80 by, let's say, 3 dependents and friends added to that, you have to remember the figures coming down in the national elections just weeks ago. There are some seats that indicate that certain assemblymen can be in trouble. No, there may be things that can happen between now and then that might put them in a better place. We don't know politics. We just don't know. We didn't even realize that the configuration, we thought it might have been a 2-seat or 3-seat majority. It happened to be much more than that, and gave the UNC a 3/5 majority in respect of their ability to pass certain pieces of legislation. So you're not sure. But even if you're not sure, you have a duty to protect, uphold the law and the Constitution. And I'm saying again, if you look at the statistics over the years, since the inception of the court, the lawyers have lost multitudes of cases, multifarious now in terms of description, cases, all through the life of the industrial court. Because they like money, and the politicians like to listen to lawyers. They are no good in terms of industrial relations. They'll lose the cases. But more than that, the workers are your fellow sisters and brothers and citizens of Tobago. You have a duty to protect their rights. Why are you appealing a court decision that says compensate them to the end of their contract? This is a simple thing. Why are you going to appeal something that will deprive or delay workers the little payment, the little kakadan, so they could live? I mean, you're only taking them back, but they have Tobagonians too. There's no basis for the appeal socially or legally.
And it really is a situation that we were hoping we would not be in again. It's something that we see happening time and time again, and we're really hoping that this kind of action can change. But in closing, I mean, we spoke about a lot this morning, and there's a lot more that we can still unpack on this topic. But in closing, what are the key takeaways that you want our viewers to go away with, both the Tobago public and the administration, where this matter is concerned?
Well, firstly, you have a right to your political affiliation and must be respected. And you must not be abused because of your political. We have to end that polemic, that fight and quarrel in our Tobago space, as we like to say. And we must respect people because, in spite of their political affiliation. The next takeaway is that please don't delay the payment to the workers. Let us have trained personnel in industrial relations conducting our industrial relations business wherever it has to be conducted. Let us hire proper lawyers who are trained and schooled in industrial relations. The Assembly needs to understand that. Let us not act on spite and vindictiveness and recrimination. It has no place, ought to have no place in our society. So I think that we shouldn't appeal for appealing's sake to save face. It might be a face-saving measure of the Chief Secretary. I hope it is not. Let us be humble. Let us have the act with humility. And the Chief Secretary is a man of God. He needs to say, listen, I was wrong, or I was wrongly advised. I believe he was more wrongly advised, and he took that advice. The lawyers are out there they set like Mapipi, as we see, to make $1 here. And then they will give the Chief Secretary bad advice, or give him advice that is close to, it sounds so reasonable that he might fall for it. So he needs all the assemblymen, PNM, TPP, they need, see, industrial relations is not high priority. The Labor Department, I don't know who even is the secretary. You look around, I told Mr. London that when he came to office in 2021. When you lump labor and you lump it low down, people hardly hear it.
2001.
Huh?
2001.
2001, yes, sorry. I beg your pardon. So the idea is that labor must be given the priority and the status and stature that it deserves. It must be a forefront department or division. So you don't put, say, community development, so and so, and then labor. And you hardly hear of the labor department. So we need to function in that way. You will look around the world. Labor is a standalone department or division or ministry throughout the world. It's only in Little Tobago I see that. Look across the waters. You don't hear of and so and so, and then labor. There's a labor minister, because it has to do with labor economics, it has to do with productivity, it has to do with industrial relations and all those social issues that pertain to work. So it must be, even if labor is not listed as a matter under the 5th schedule, it needs to be lifted out. In our time, I was the secretary for labor, because we understand or understood the importance of having labor as a division put in the right place, so we can instruct the rest of the society in terms of labor economics, labor matters, labor economics, social justice, and all of that. So it must be a forefront division. So we need to reconfigure how we see labor. People see it, well, the workers are terrible. Well, I know some of them are terrible. I've experienced some of them, all right? But it speaks to your human resource management, isn't it? Your public administration must be a forefront division. It speaks to productivity and fairness and procedure and all those kind of things, and appointments and job security, if you could say that, and so forth. Getting your divisions functioning optimally. So is yet another opportunity to set it right in terms of the distribution of portfolios and the naming of portfolios in the Tobago House of Assembly. Labor must be a forefront, perhaps standalone division. It is a sorry state that we don't want to hear, we don't want to listen, and we're going to do it our own way. But maybe we might see the effects of that. It is not helpful. And to the people who are widows, who are fatherless, who are affected by this judgment, people who have bank loans to pay, car loans to pay, send their children to school. You met the people there, and there could have been some humanness, some humanity, if you wish, in your decision making. And I'm suggesting to the Chief Secretary, there's yet time to make it whole and to make it right. I hope you will take the advice.
Thank you so much, Mr. James, for coming on this morning and, of course, giving us that insight into this situation and, of course, the call for us to do things better, you know, especially socially here in Trinidad and Tobago, and more so in the Tobago space where we are kind of community and family based here in Tobago. And so I do hope that, you know, we can make some advancements, some progress where this type of situation is concerned.
The people have a right to what the court has ordered as compensation. Let us do the right thing.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Max James, former Labour Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly and the holder of an MBA in Human Resource Management. As you are aware, the Tobago House of Assembly currently faces a court order to pay $3 million to 13 THA workers who have been, their contracts have been terminated abruptly, and now they are being made to pay, of course, with the Chief Secretary stating that he is going to appeal the case. Let's see how that goes. Remember to stay tuned. You can leave your comments on our Facebook and our YouTube live stream. And of course, we always want to hear from you. We want you to be a part of the conversation. So always log into Tobago Updates Television and let us know what your thoughts are. This is where GMT ends for the morning, but of course you can join us later this evening at 6:30 p.m. for our evening news. I am Adana Kambi. Do have a wonderful day.